Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and it's a bit of a hodgepodge episode, but that's okay. We're going to have fun. Although, I do have some very serious business to start the show with. I do. We have, I'm going to get my cigar going, and then we'll get into the serious business, and then we're going to have fun. So, today, I'm going to be smoking a new cigar from the fine folks at JC Newman, and I will be trying the Sarzedas. It's a 6x50 Toro, and this historic brand was once known as the Aromatic Cigar. Sarzedas features a silky smooth Ecuadorian shade wrapper and binder and filler tobaccos from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. While this brand back in the day, we're talking like early 1900s, used to be 10 to 15 cents for a cigar, now you're looking at right around $8 to $10 for one. But, I guess that's just the sign of the times these days. So we're going to give this guy a cut and light and get it going and give it a try. I get the feeling, without having done a whole lot of research into this, based upon the fact that they're promoting it as the Aromatic Cigar and various other things that, have come across my desk, I'm getting the feeling this thing probably is going to be very similar to like the Outcast, the Outcast that I smoked from Miami Cigar and Company last year. Kind of that, maybe pipe tobacco. I don't know if it's pipe tobacco. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I will see in a moment. And you know what? Why am I talking about it? Let's just see. Yep, we have a sweet cap. We have a sweet tip on this cigar. I thought that's probably where we were gonna go. But, there we go. So, time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. I don't know what else you could possibly want from a cigar, retailer. So please go to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So, yes, I was thinking it was a sweet cap, but I wanted to, give it a little try, make sure. Give it a try, make sure. Okay, took that, and we got I was thinking maybe we took just got it at a weird angle and it was going to be a problem, but I don't think it will. I think it will be just fine. So, it's definitely sweet. Man, it's got a very specific kind of fruity flavor to it. I don't know what that's pinging. But it's pinging in the brain. It's sweet and fruity. It's an interesting flavor. It's not bad. I mean, it's different. But it's not bad. I don't know. I have a thought on this cigar, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see where it goes. So, anyway, why don't we go ahead and get this thing lit and get it going? So let's listen to the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused. abuse, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars use authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I got this guy lit up. Draw on it is amazing. It tastes like a normal cigar when you're smoking it. The cold draw is very sweet and fruity. But the cigar itself, when you get it going and you're lighting it, it's a cigar. It's just a cigar. Now, I will say that sweetness does linger on the lips from the cap. I'm waiting to see how long that maybe takes to dissipate away. But it's not bad. It's not bad right off the light. Right off the light, it's not bad. So we'll see. We'll see where the Sarzedas, Sarzedas, the Sarzedas goes. All right, guys. Okay. I have two bits of serious news. And I'm going to start with the first one, which is actually legitimately kind of serious. Right off the bat, I want to get this little bit of business out of the way. So we as a group of parishioners, a parish, if you will, need to lift up a couple of members. We need to keep the family and friends of King Claridge of Ash Chanel Cigars in our thoughts and prayers, because I hate the phrase thoughts and prayers. This is a very serious moment, and I probably shouldn't be making fun, but the people on Facebook will use thoughts and prayers as a way to they'll comment that on a very serious post or something like that, and all they want is updates. They just want the updates. They don't really care. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So we should be keeping in mind Ken Claridge, whose mother passed away this past weekend, and Mike Brinker, whose father passed away this past weekend. I'm fortunate enough to have my parents, and I don't know, that's a that's a reality I don't want to contemplate. I know at some point we all get there, but yeah, that's rough, and I feel for both of them. So Ken and Mike, I'm sorry for your losses, and you need anything from me or the parishioners, I'm sure you've got it. So hopefully you guys can remember the happy times and not concentrate on the end, because it's one of those things. Like I said, I've been fortunate enough not to lose anybody, so I can only speak from the hypothetical, and I come at it very clinically. It's like, well, they've lived a nice long life and blah, 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 but nobody's ever ready to say goodbye to somebody, no matter how long of a life it's been. But yeah, that sucks. So I'm really sorry, guys. Anyway, now the other bit of serious news. You guys are probably thinking holy shit, what's next after that? But we do have some serious news. We have more monkey problems.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's true. It's true. So as you guys might remember, I was very concerned about the escaped monkeys down in Mississippi. The monkeys that were infected with the simian hepatitis 19. That's a mix of herpes, hepatitis, and COVID-19. And it's a problem. Now, last I heard, I think maybe they might have gotten the last monkey. There was one monkey that was still living out there and doing its thing. Last I heard, I think maybe they got the last monkey. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I'll be honest, I probably should have looked it up before this. But the threat has come to my doorstep, people. It's at my doorstep. So this weekend, what would that be? Friday? It's like 3 days ago. Friday, maybe Thursday, Friday. There were reports of 4 wild. Let me get the proper type. There were 4 adult monkeys walking around O'Fallon Park in St. Louis, North St. Louis, on January 8th. These monkeys are vervet monkeys, V-E-R-V-E-T, vervet monkeys. And apparently, they're not known to be aggressive or any kind of thing like that. They're apparently pretty sweet monkeys. But there are 4 monkeys that were reported being seen in the neighborhood. And St. Louis Animal Control is desperately trying to catch these monkeys. And they're failing. Just failing. They cannot catch these monkeys. However, that's not where it ends. So January 8th, that was what? Thursday, we have reports of monkeys. Okay. Friday. I think it was Friday. All of a sudden, Friday, there's a goat. A goat. Somebody finds and witnesses and takes a picture of a goat walking around in downtown St. Louis. So now we have 4 monkeys and a goat roaming around St. Louis. Like, not like the area, like downtown. Like, the monkeys are a little north of downtown. But, and for anybody who's not familiar with the area, those monkeys north of downtown is not a place I'd want to hang out. But, whatever. They're small, they're nimble. Maybe they're able to escape danger quickly. But yeah, you got 4 monkeys and a goat roaming around downtown. So, I have to admit, I haven't heard an update on the goat. I don't know if they caught the goat. I don't know if the goat just disappeared. I don't know what's going on. Everybody's fixated on these monkeys. And taking a very serious look at it for a moment, nobody knows where the monkeys came from. Nobody's taking responsibility. There's been multiple sightings, but nobody knows, including the St. Louis City Health Department, where these monkeys came from. There have been no, they don't know if somebody maybe illegally had them as pets and let them out. They don't know if they escaped from a place that was doing animal testing. They don't know what's going on. All we know is supposedly there's 4 monkeys roaming around North St. Louis. So hopefully this is not anything serious. I mean, for all we know, these monkeys could be just riddled with the simian herpavirus or herpetitis 19. I don't know. And what's interesting to me is I've seen a variety of the local social media is going insane. I saw one post from a gentleman basically telling everybody hey, guys, stay in your lane. If you see a monkey roaming around, maybe this isn't the time to be going over to pet it because you don't know what it's carrying. And maybe this is the way to get rid of us is to release these monkeys that are just infected with all kinds of shit and expect us to do stupid shit. And in all fairness, some areas of St. Louis, they could get away with that because there are some very stupid people in my area. I mean, there's stupid people everywhere, but let's be real. Somebody sees a monkey, they're probably going to try to be like, hey, little monkey, come over here. especially because these are kind of cute monkeys. These are like the little monkey. These look like the outbreak monkeys is what they look like. And that's a problem. That's what's got me thinking, oh, this is the outbreak. This is the outbreak situation. And in St. Louis, of all places, dead center of the country, why wouldn't you put them there? You know, it just spreads out this way. Why start on the coast? Put it in the center and spread it out. So yeah, so we got this monkey situation, and then we get the goat and everything else. But what's been fun, there is a fun aspect of this. If we don't, freak out about the prospect of like world annihilating disease. I mean, am I sitting in the new Wuhan? Is Wuhan so 2020 and St. Louis is 2026? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'd hate to think that I'm in the epicenter of the next pandemic, but you never know. But the internet has taken off, and there's a graphic designer in St. Louis that's been going pretty crazy. I should do him a solid because, pretty much all the images that I have are him. On Facebook, it's D. Walton Graphic Design is his Facebook page. D. Walton Graphic Design. And he has been going crazy with making images of the monkeys and the goat touring around St. Louis. Likely, if you guys have any friends whatsoever from this area, you've probably seen one. The one that's been going really, really viral has been the 4 monkeys and the goat, and they've got a cell phone. So of course they're taking selfies, and they're taking a selfie in front of the St. Louis Arch. They've since moved on from the St. Louis Arch. They've gone to Busch Stadium, home of the St. Louis Cardinals. They've gone to the zoo, where they stood in front of the giant gorilla statue, which I thought was kind of funny. They went to Forest Park, which is kind of like our, it's kind of like our, what's the big park in New York? Central Park. It's kind of like our Central Park. It's a very large park. Forest Park is a very large park. And anyway, they stood in front of the big statue of St. Louis that's in front of the art museum. They went to Crown Candy Kitchen, which is a fairly famous little restaurant up in the north part of the city. They took the Metrolink, which is our little train thing around. So I mean, it's been amusing to look at these pictures. I'll put some of them, up here as this goes, I'm sure. And so, for those of you on the video side, but it's amusing, and I've been very amused watching the pictures and the memes coming up. Businesses are embracing it. You have some businesses that have been making images of the monkey at their shop. It's been nice. It's kind of rallied the area a little bit in a really weird, kind of messed up way. It's kind of an interesting little thing. I don't know. It's something fun. It's just something, and I think everybody's just so damn desperate for something fun in their life at this point. I'm not going to get into why we wouldn't, but the point is, I think we all want something fun. And so the idea that 4 monkeys and a goat are running around St. Louis as buddies is kind of just fun. When you take the threat of outbreak out of the picture, so that's going on here. But, we had one school that did it. They put the monkeys and the goat in cheerleader uniforms. And one parent was not thrilled about that and thought it was a racial thing because the school happens to be a predominantly African-American school. And what's been kind of nice, though, is watching the internet pounce on them and say, not everything is about race. Sometimes we can just have some fucking fun. And by God, I didn't think we could think that way in 2026. But yet here we are. There are people telling this person not to be a stick in the mud, that not everything is about race. It can just be about fun. And by God, let the school post a picture of these monkeys in cheerleader uniforms. They're monkeys. This is not a racial thing. And I understand that's like a derogatory slang for, and that's horrible, but that's not what they were doing. So it's irrelevant, You're trying to put your own spin on shit, but that's neither here nor there. So we've had animal issues in the city. Now this is where I pivot from this a little bit. So the city, health department and the animal control people, they kind of are saying that the AI has made this difficult for them to find these monkeys. Because, admittedly, a lot of people are using AI to make pictures of themselves with a monkey. Like, hey, I'm holding a monkey, and that kind of thing. Or like, there was one video that was going around where this lady had the monkey on the floorboard on the passenger side of their car, just chilling out. Like, hey, we caught one, blah, 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 and all that. And it looked pretty real. It wasn't. It looked pretty real, but it wasn't. And so these city officials are basically saying, like, hey, these things are actually screwing with our ability to truly find these monkeys. Because what? I guess they're hunting down, these people to ask them, like, did you really have a monkey on your floorboard? But anyway, and I found that interesting. And then that got me thinking. There are reports of people seeing these monkeys. But, and this is me being the conspiracy theorist, perhaps this is my problem. I need to accept some things at face value. But, could all this be an AI hoax? Could the monkey, like the pictures and the videos, the monkeys that initially caused this, and the goat definitely, could those all be just AI bullshit as a way to kind of throw the city into some turmoil and have city officials chasing their monkey tails instead of doing actual stuff? I don't know. It's possible. I would hope that when these monkeys are caught, we can actually see the monkeys. Like put them in an enclosed cage on a table at a press conference so that we can say that's 4 monkeys. They caught the 4 monkeys. The goat, I don't even know what's happening with the goat. But yeah, I would hope that would be the case. Otherwise, I hate the fact that we live in a world that we have to question things like this now. We can't trust our own eyes. We can't look at a picture. We can't look at a video and say, that's true. Especially with animals. I've talked about this on this show. People, you can look at a person in an AI video and say, there's something not right. And the brain picks up on it. The brain knows. There's something not right. That's not real. But animals, especially if they don't have them doing something fucking goofy, if they're just being animals, it's hard to tell an animal in AI. I keep coming back to those videos from Halloween where the raccoon goes up to the dish of candy on the front porch and triggers the motion sensitive, witch, and it goes, and then the raccoon jumps and runs away. That's 100% feasible. And I bought those. I bought every one of those until I started seeing way too many of them. Then I'm like, all right, this is the new trend, that kind of thing. But I wonder, you could prank a town by making a very convincing looking AI picture of a monkey running around small town USA, send it to the police and be like, I just took this picture and you guys need to go and find this monkey. You could send a town in all kinds of turmoil doing that shit. And it just makes me wonder if that's what we've got going on here. Is this some sort of real threat? Are there actual monkeys out there? And a goat? Or is this just the internet playing an elaborate prank? Or something more nefarious? I don't know. I'd like to think. I'd like to believe that somewhere on the mean streets of St. Louis, there are 4 monkeys, vervet monkeys, running around with their buddy, Billy the goat, having the time of their lives. I would like to think that they have found shelter in one of the burned out abandoned houses on the north side of St. Louis, because there are plenty of them. And, they're staying warm, huddled up, together, and doing all right. I'd like to think that. I don't know why. I as much as I don't like the threat of potential outbreak, for whatever reason, the idea of these monkeys and this goat running around kind of amuses me. It's a different situation than Mississippi. We knew those were diseased monkeys, and they were dangerous too. They flat out said, these are mean monkeys. Don't approach them. The vervet monkeys apparently are super nice, according to National Geographic. So, there's that. I don't know. I think we ought to... I'm embracing the St. Louis monkey goat situation. And I hope it goes well. I will say this damn thing has turned into worldwide news. I mean, I'm seeing articles from England about these monkeys. I mean, St. Louis hasn't been this well known for something in quite some time. And of course, it happens to be the fact that we have a couple of rogue monkeys and a goat running around. I think the goat's weird, but the goat piggybacked off the monkey. The fact that we had monkeys one day and a goat the next day, that's weird. And that does make me, I'm going to do a little Googling here as I talk. It does make me wonder about the goat. Because it does make me wonder if the goat was real or not. Yeah, son of a bitch. Goat on the run. 2 days ago, goat on the run in St. Louis, multiple monkeys still as well. First there were monkeys on the run on Friday, now at least one goat is on the run. Son of a bitch. Wait. Yeah. Oh. On Union Boulevard. It appeared on Union Boulevard. I mean, what the hell, man? We got monkeys and goats. I don't even know. I can't keep track of all this. This is just weird. But anyway, that's what's going on there. Now, on to some actual other stuff. I told you this was a bit of a hodgepodge. So the socials are at it again. They are fucking with us cigar people. So this past weekend, past weekend, in the last few days, I received an email from Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. And Meta told me, let me bring it up. Let me see if I can bring up the email just so that, Meta informed me that my page, The Cigar Pulpit, didn't follow the rules, so it isn't being suggested to other people right now. It says, "Hi, Nick. All content on Facebook must comply with our terms of service and community standards. These are high-level rules against sexual, violent, profane, and hateful content. In order to qualify for recommendation, either fix these issues or request a review." Now, when I click View Details, all it says is that I violated community standards. It doesn't tell me what I did. The only thing that I can figure is I was just such an asshole and I smoked a cigar and I put it up on Facebook. I promoted the evils of tobacco on Facebook. I am not the only one to have received this. Basically, from what I can gather, almost the entirety of the cigar industry is starting to get it. I know the Cigar Authority got it. Kiss My Ash Radio, they got it. They talked about it on their show. It's Coop, he got it. It's spreading around. They're coming at us. Facebook has decided that cigars are bad, and they're coming at us. And I don't know if they're coming after manufacturers as well, or if they're just coming after media for right now. But for right now, definitely They're definitely targeting media. Now they say that my page is not qualified for recommendation. So what I gather that means is that if you have found me, you're good. If you look for me, you probably will find me, I guess. I don't know. But it's not going to suggest you to me or me to you. It's not going to be one of those things where I grow my audience naturally just on its own because, the algorithm helps me. Basically, the algorithm's not going to help me out anymore. I kind of haven't really worried about that with Facebook in quite some time. Look, we have the parishioners group. Truthfully, the actual like page, the Facebook like page, because there's the parishioners group and there is a like page. To be completely honest, the like page used to be tethered to my Instagram to where when I would post on Instagram, it would automatically take that same post, put it to Facebook, and also put it to Twitter. Then Meta decided to fuck around with everything and create these like different profiles and shit. And for whatever reason, the Instagram tethered to my personal Facebook page and I didn't want that. So I disconnected it. Well, now I can't reconnect the Instagram to the Facebook for the pulpit. And so I've kind of not done a lot of posting on the like page on Facebook in quite some time. If something comes up on there, it's purely by accident. Same with Twitter, to be fair. So honestly, I don't really care. I focus almost entirely on my Instagram and even less that than the parishioners group. And I like the parishioners group because there's actual interaction back and forth. We have fun. So like if they're not recommending the like page, it's not the end of the world for me, but it's just more social media big brother putting their thumb on the scale and coming down on cigars. And, why anybody should be surprised, I don't know. But for whatever reason, some people seem to be surprised. Now, one aspect I don't know about, I haven't talked to any to know if it's impacting them or not, is retailers. Are retailers having their pages restricted like this? If that's the case, that's a big deal. And retailers need to be figuring it out. Truthfully, in this day and age, and I know it's going to sound very old school, but there's one bit of communication means that is the gold standard. It's never going to go away. And everybody needs to have been doing it all along and building it. And that's email lists. Let's be real, folks. Think about your email for a minute, your email address. It likely is one that you've had for a very long time. I can tell you right now, my email address, I've had my personal one. I've had, oh my God, forever. I mean, I may have had that email address for 30 years now, or at least close to it. Maybe not quite 30. Coming up on 30 though. Dangerously coming up on 30. 25 at least. So, yeah. We get our email and we just stick with it. Now, other email addresses come and go, work email addresses, things like that, but like you all have, even if you have a work email address that maybe you use more than a personal one, you always still have a personal email address. And that's going to stick. People don't change that. It's like I said, it's the gold standard. So if you as a retailer, you as a media person, you as anybody can get a hold of somebody's email address, you can always get in touch with them. You can always reach out to them about this, that, or the other thing because they're not going to give that up. Now, obviously, some people don't like getting a whole bunch of emails, and if you hit them with too many, they're going to cancel. They're going to unsubscribe. And that's fine. That's their prerogative. But at least that's a you and them decision. That is not Facebook came along and put the screws to me and now my people can't see what I'm doing. or YouTube has taken down my channel and now, nobody can see what I'm putting out because YouTube has decided that I'm wrong. That sort of thing. They're making the choice for the consumer, whereas at least with email, it's a relationship between you and them. And if they want to say no more to your content, that's on them. But so I guess my point to that is, if this is impacting retailers and you haven't been collecting email addresses before, you may want to start very seriously collecting email addresses right now so that you can be prepared. Or not even be prepared so you can keep up. Because likely you've probably gotten to the point that if you got that email from Meta, you're done. You have the audience you have. And, if somebody happens to like your page, it's going to be because they found you elsewhere and then decided to look for you there. They're not going to just stumble across you at this point. And that's kind of the way it is for me and all the other media. It's like they're not going to stumble across us anymore. So I don't know. The world keeps getting shorter or tighter and tighter for the cigar people. It's kind of fucked though, because I was at a Barnes & Noble this weekend, and it was a different one. It wasn't the one by my house. It was a different location. And so, I just kind of like browsing around. So I'm looking at the magazines, and I get in the section that normally I would find Cigar Aficionado, Cigar Journal, those magazines. They carry them at my Barnes & Noble. However, at this Barnes & Noble, they did not. They didn't have any cigar magazines. They had some liquor-related magazines, whiskey and various things like that. And then they had some cannabis-related magazines, but no cigar-related magazines. So for whatever reason, despite the science, despite all the court action, despite all of the various fights and everything else that takes place, cigars are still considered evil versus, cannabis. And I don't get it. But that's a whole nother conversation. Not one I particularly feel like getting into tonight. But it's just more of the same. It's just more of the same. Everywhere you turn, everybody's picking on the cigars and picking a fight, and it's not right. It's not right. But yeah. So anyway, I guess my takeaway from that is I just want to let you all know that Facebook is kind of screwing with everybody. So if for whatever reason you don't see your normal cigar content in your feed, well, it's because the algorithm has decided that we're evil. And if maybe you have not liked the page for your, specific interests, but maybe you just kind of visited or whatever else, you might want to consider just throwing them a like. That way you can track them. And I will also say, don't be surprised that retailers and various people are asking for email addresses. I mean, look, I've known about the email thing for a long time. I mean, I knew that long before I started the podcast. I mean, that's kind of one of those little marketing things that you just kind of know. And, I'm going to be launching my newsletter, if all goes according to plan, later this week, early next week at the absolute latest, but later this week, is my plan. And, there's a reason I'm looking at an email newsletter. It's kind of a digital version of a bigger project that I'm working on. But I'm launching the digital to get it going and everything first. But it's neither here nor there. The point is that you gotta build that email list. And so if you're a retailer and you're listening to this and you haven't been, start building your email list of your customers. If you are a consumer, don't be surprised if people are asking for your email. It's up to you. I mean, you could always have a second email just to collect that kind of stuff. I mean, I have my personal email, and I do have a second email address that I give to like stores that maybe they're gonna like, I don't know what the hell, but I've got a junk email is what I'm saying. I'm not advocating that you put me and some of these other people in a junk email, but whatever. Anyway, that's that. Okay, enough about all that. It's I don't know. It's pointless. So, while I'm bringing up my soundboard so that I can move on to the next thing, the Sarzedas, it's smoking really well. And I will say, despite how much I'm talking, I've only had to hit it with flame a little bit. I'm going to do it now because the wrapper isn't quite keeping up with the. I was letting it go too long. It was getting ready to probably go out, but the draw on it's been nice. It is aromatic. It is an aromatic cigar. I'll give it that. But it doesn't necessarily come through like on the flavor, like when you're smoking it. It just smokes like a cigar. It tastes like a cigar. Yeah, I'm not getting like intense, that sweetness on the cap. It's maybe every once in a while you get a little something, but by and large it's kind of dissipated. Yeah, I mean it's not a bad little cigar. I would say that this and the Outcast from Miami Cigar and Company, I think they both have a place in the industry, and the Cigar Authority on one of their most recent episodes, it might have been the last one. Maybe not this last. Maybe it was this last one. I don't know. There was an email question about it was a guy saying that his wife likes flavored and sweet and infused cigars, and he was asking about the etiquette of her smoking in the lounge with him if she's smoking one of those, and is that okay for her to be smoking one of those? Now, personally, I have my opinion, which is, yeah, it's 100% okay. If she bought that cigar there, then they're selling it, and it's okay. And everybody in that lounge needs to put up and shut up, because she has just as much right to sit and smoke a product that she bought from that retailer as anybody else in there. I might think that the Liga Privada number 9 stinks, but I'm not going to say anything to the guy that's smoking it and whatever. So, and who cares if the air gets a little aromatic with a little fruit and flowers? Who gives a shit? Hell, it probably smells better than half the guys that are in there, but that's neither here nor there. She has every right to smoke it. But he was asking about other cigars that maybe, he could have her try. Now, I would say that the Sarzedas, the Outcast, and also that new Dominicana, the new one from Deadwood. It's sweet tipped, but like it's not so much infused. I'm trying to think of the name of that one. It's their newest one. That one, look, it's a bridge. It's a bridge cigar. It gives them that sweet, familiar sweet tip. That way they're not like going completely in, but the flavor and infusion is not there, or at the very least significantly less. This one, it's very aromatic. And it's smoking well. So I would say that if you have someone in your life who enjoys the Deadwood cigars and maybe wants to branch out and try a little something different, maybe the Sarzedas is a good bridge, kind of gets them going. I don't know. The only thing I'll say, and this is one of however many of these cigars they made, I got that going on. For those of you who aren't on the video, I got a nice like tobacco void just going on right down the damn center of the thing. And for those of you on the video, you can see it's a big ass hole going right down the middle. And it has suddenly impacted my draw a little bit. But this goes back to what I was talking about when I had Trey Mac on. This is happening more and more. And I don't know what the hell's up with it, but these manufacturers need to correct this shit. I don't know what it is about cigars lately, but I am having this happen so much more. I don't know what to do about it, but I don't think it's me because I'm lighting it and it's fine all the way up until it's not. And then it's like a struggle, and then it's fine. You know, it's like there's a chunk just missing, and I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. Brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. All right. So what have I been watching lately? I finished the third season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and that was really good. I enjoyed that. It was nice. It was fun. I like that show better than a lot of the other more recent Trek because it's more episodic, and you can kind of jump in, and you don't need to know nearly as much. It's just kind of fun. But yeah, so if you're maybe somebody who liked old Trek, but just the new stuff's not doing it, Strange New Worlds is good. I like that. The other thing that I started watching that surprisingly I've never watched before, it's one that's been on my list for quite some time. I was looking for something just to like turn on. Is Peaky Blinders. I turned on Peaky Blinders, and it stars oh my god, Sam Neill's the cop, and Cillian Murphy is the main dude, and so good. The nice thing is, the seasons are only 6 episodes long, so it shouldn't take too terribly long to blow through this. It's entertaining. The accents are a little thick sometimes. You could turn on subtitles. I really hate watching shows with subtitles. I find myself reading along with it and not paying attention to what's happening like in the show itself. But I could see where maybe with some of these characters, subtitles might be important. But no, I'm digging that. It's a little gangster drama set in like the early 1900s, and it's been entertaining. And it's fun to watch Cillian Murphy kind of play these different sides. He's a smart, crafty guy. It's interesting watching them kind of deal with some of these guys, because it's right after World War I. So a lot of these guys are dealing with PTSD from the war, and that's another interesting kind of side effect or side story to it too, because we see a lot of I think we see a lot of entertainment, for lack of a better descriptive, based around World War II. But World War I really doesn't get a lot of attention in that regard. I know Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie, that had that was set in World War I. And there's other things I'm sure, but not that many. World War I is kind of one of those ones that they just kind of blow past, and they go straight into the Nazis with World War II, and World War I was fucked. I mean, that's when you started having machine guns coming up for the first time. I mean, like, there was some technology that came out in World War I that, like, really rocked the world. And, between that and the trenches. I don't know. It was it was a bad war, and so it's interesting to see a show that plays a role in. I don't know. And for those of you who are near the Kansas City area or are ever inclined to visit, the National World War I Museum is in Kansas City, Missouri, and it's actually a really badass museum. And I visited it and I enjoyed it, and it's nowhere near as busy as the World War II Museum. Case in point of what I'm talking about. But the World War I Museum is actually really cool. So if you ever make your way out to Kansas City, I would recommend going in and visiting that. I like museums and history and shit, though. So anyway, moving on now.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars I smoked and enjoyed this week. And this week, I smoked some good stuff. Smoked a couple that I wanted to highlight. So first of all, I wanted to highlight that Villiger Miami that I smoked on the episode where I talked about dangerous cigars. That was a very fine smoke. I enjoyed that. I spent quite a bit of time with that after I turned the camera off, enjoying the rest of that. It was a good smoke. And apt for the topic of that episode. By the way, I'm sorry I'm taking so many long puffs on this thing, but again, this hole that's running down it, the first like couple of draws are just nothing, and it's taking me probably about 5 or 6 draws before I start getting the smoke going. So it's like I almost have to like prime the engine and get it running again. It's definitely a bit of an issue. And again, it's not, see, look at that. It's just right down the center. And, I don't know how long it goes, but it is impacting the draw. So that is probably a downside to the specific Sarzedas. I do have a second one because you never buy just one for a review. You always get 2. That way, a minimum. That way you can kind of give it a fair shot. So, I will say if this cigar was not doing that, if this cigar had a proper draw to it, I would be enjoying this one a whole lot more than I currently am. Anyway, so the Villiger Miami, good cigar. I really enjoyed it that day. The next one I wanted to highlight is the Brickhouse Ciento por Ciento TAA 2020. I've had that thing chilling in my humidor since I went down and toured El Reloj in 2020. It was right around Thanksgiving of 2020. It was right before they started the public tours. Drew Newman was very, very kind and got me hooked up to do, like, I was kind of the guinea pig. They had one of the gentlemen there that was going to be doing the tours give us the tour, and he kind of gave us the big time tour, because it wasn't just like what the normal public sees. We got to see a lot more, and we got to hang out in each spot a lot longer, because there weren't tours like on our heels. You know, we were able to just kind of just do it. So, I mean, I think it was like a 3.5 hour long tour of the factory. I mean, it was amazing, and we got to see all kinds of cool stuff. So, I'm very thankful for that. But while I was there, I hit up the shop and I bought some Americans, and I bought a box of Americans, and I bought a box of the Brickhouse Ciento por Ciento TAA cigars from 2020. And it is a Brickhouse that knows somebody. They've done that blend, whatever they did with that blend, it added some spice and some boldness and some strength to it. And I have enjoyed that cigar now for 6 years. Well, 5 years. We're into our 6th year. And I still have some from that box. Not a ton, but I have slow smoked that box because I didn't want to, piss it away. I did find a retailer in, was it Daytona? No, it wasn't Daytona. It was Destin. I found a retailer in Destin that still had some rattling around on their shelf. And don't think for a moment I didn't pick up a handful. I didn't clean them out. Thought about it, but I didn't. But last would have been July of 2024. There was a retailer in Destin that still had some of these. So, for what it's worth. But good cigar. I really enjoyed that. The last one I smoked was a gift from Jeff Andreezy, a listener, Jeff Andreezy. How you doing, Jeff? And Jeff was kind enough to gift me more than a few cigars. He went overboard, and I appreciate it so much. But like, he didn't have to do all that, but he did. But he gifted me a Rojas Street Taco, the Cinco de Mayo limited edition from 2025. That was a tasty little cigar, and he gave me two, and I'm very happy that he did, because I'm happy to be able to go back on that one again. But holy cow, that was a good cigar, and that's one I don't remember. I'd never heard of it. I didn't even know it existed until he gifted me two of them. So I don't know if that's like a little sleeper limited edition that Rojas does or what the deal is, but holy cow, guys, if you come across the Street Taco 2025 Cinco de Mayo limited edition, and it says Cinco de Mayo on the band, man, get yourself one. That's a good little cigar. I enjoyed that greatly. Again, had some spice and some body to it. Good flavor, smoked wonderfully. I cannot say enough nice things about that. So, Jeff, thank you so much for turning me on to that cigar. That was greatly appreciated, and I'm looking forward to enjoying that second one another day. I'm gonna let it sit and chill some more. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to burn through. Just to burn through. Again, trying to be more purposeful with my smoking. This Sarzedas is my first cigar of today. I've been very busy today doing stuff. I'm actually, truthfully, in about 5 minutes, I will be recording this on the day, I will have jumped into Tuesday. So this will be hot off the board for you guys. But, it's been a long work day, but, so I haven't really gotten a lot of smoking in, but I'm hoping tomorrow I can get some in, because I got really far ahead on my newspaper stuff today. So that's good. That's good. We can get a little bit of other work done and get some cigars in. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, it's time for the socials, for what they're worth. I am available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook. There's the like page. Again, it's not being recommended. Find the parishioners group. It's the Cigar Pulpit Parishioners group. Just find that and join that. For those of you who are in it, there are a few more days left to vote for our Parishioners Cigar of the Year. It's a pinned post at the top there. You can go there and find that and take it to the Google Doc and vote for that. The voting last I saw was very, very tight. So, get in on the fun there and let's declare a winner. Also, along those lines, if you're not a Facebook person, but you want to vote for it, head on over to cigarpulpit.com. It's the very first post. There's an image that says click here to vote and blah, blah, blah. Click that. It should take you straight to the Google Doc and you'll be able to vote from there. So, either cigarpulpit.com or the Facebook parishioners group, you'll find it there. I am on Twitter/X. Don't really do anything. You can watch this on Rumble and YouTube. And while you're at the cigarpulpit.com, sign up for the newsletter, because that, again, will be launching by the end of this week, if all goes to plan. And then the other thing, guys, I'm going to be banking some episodes. I got some life stuff coming up in the next week or so. And so I have some live stuff, so I'm going to be banking up some episodes. So I do need your calls for Ask the Pulpit. So give me a call on the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Call in with your comments, questions, concerns, recipes. I don't care what you call with. We'll talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. This is a kind of a one-way dialogue. I mean, you leave me a message and I reply, but we can have a dialogue through the hotline, and I think that's fun. So give me a call on the hotline and we can go from there. Otherwise, that's kind of that. Now, I did just say I've got some live stuff coming up on banking episodes. This episode's obviously for Tuesday. We have one Friday of this week. We're going to stay on the same schedule, Tuesdays, Fridays. It's just that I'm over the course of this week, I am recording like an episode every single day so that I have next week covered. And then, even though voting ends on the 16th, the Cigar of the Year, the Parishioner Cigar of the Year, will be announced on the January 30th episode. I think that's a Tuesday. Let me look at the calendar here. I should know this. No, I'm sorry. That is a Friday. The Friday, January 30th episode is where we will be announcing the Parishioner's Cigar of the Year. So, yeah, be listening for that. So basically 2 weeks after the voting ends is when you'll find out what won. But part of that is my live stuff. Part of it, though, too, is as you guys know, in years past, I've tried to have the manufacturer who won on the show to tell them. And when I make the announcement to you, I also make the announcement to them. Although they kind of know because I had to get them on the show. But, it's one of those things that I try to have them on. I've been very fortunate in years past. West Tampa Tobacco won, getting Rick Rodriguez worked out well. Last year, the Perdomo 30th won, and getting Nick Perdomo was able to be done. This year, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. There's a couple of cigars that are leading the pack in terms of votes right now, and if one of them wins, getting that person might be a bit tricky for logistical reasons. But we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. But that's why that's another reason why that one is kind of getting pushed off, is I have to get in touch with the winner. So anyway, that's that. Having to pull the ripcord on this thing and get it going. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that tunnel right down the damn center of it. I don't want to shit on you, JC Newman, because I know this is one of, like I said, thousands of these cigars that you guys produced. So, it's unfortunate that the one I'm smoking on the show happens to be a dud, but, what the hell? It's really, really unfortunate. And, like I said, it's not just JC Newman. There's been a lot of companies that I have encountered in the last year that have had this problem, and it is becoming a more common problem. And I don't know what it is. I don't think it's just me. Other people have said that this is a problem they're encountering. I've talked to other reps and things like that, and they're saying they're hearing it from some of their retailers and things like that. So, this is not just me. But yeah, this is definitely an issue. So, anyway. Alrighty, guys. Well, had that not happened, I would be very much enjoying this Sarzedas. The flavor on it, again, every once in a while you get that little itty bitty something, but by and large it's cigar. Aroma wise, it's very pleasant. I don't mind it. It's not like the fruity sweet thing that I encounter. The cold draw is way different than the actual experience with the cigar. The sweetness on the cap goes away. It does not linger. It doesn't stick around for very long. It's enough to get you into the cigar. And then once you're in the cigar, it's fine. Truthfully, if I had one that didn't do this tunneling bullshit, I would smoke this again. I'm going to smoke it at least one more time because I have another one sitting over there. It's not an unpleasant experience, with the exception of that. But like that right there, that will make it an unpleasant experience. That'll make any cigar an unpleasant experience. Let's be real. You could give me a Padron 60th, and that would make that an unpleasant experience. You could give me a Perdomo Legacy, and that would make it an unpleasant experience. There are plenty of cigars. Every cigar, you give me one and it does this, it's gonna suck. So, this is not, anything specific against this blend. It's just this specific cigar. Anyway. All right, guys. I think I've rambled on enough and all that. So, guys, thank you so much for taking time out. I really do appreciate it. Watch out for monkeys. And this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe. Stay smoky. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need to have a smoking party, and we can invite all the vervet monkeys and goats, and we can just sit around and smoke cigars with vervet monkeys and goats. They seem like cute little monkeys. They seem very, very nice. I mean, I don't know. There was one. There was this lady on the news talking about how, like, look at it, he's got the little fingers and the sharp teeth, and gonna be like, doing weird shit. And I'll tell you what. What is it with local news finding the most ignorant motherfuckers to put on the news? Why is it that it's always the dumbest individuals that they find to put on the camera? They have to be doing it on purpose. I used to think, that's just the people that are willing to talk to them. I really don't think so. I really do think that the news are seeking out some of these specific people. Maybe because they want to go viral and they figure, if we have some ignorant jackass, we'll become like a meme forever or whatnot. I don't know. But it's definitely a thing. These news people, man, they find the dumbest people to put on the news. But anyway, all right, guys, take it easy and watch out for monkeys and goats.